Ted Sloan, and I would like to introduce our first guest tonight. Let's start things off right and introduce Gary Itachi, who will welcome us to his territory and bring us greetings on behalf of his nation.
My name is Jerry Itachi. I was born in Siphon Creek, a place where they call spiritual rock movement. The rock that moves there like every year to a different location. So they call it Tsesawant, where the rock sits. Grew up down in Peterson Crossing. Fort St. John was that town that we go to ever since I remember. They have a Hudson Bay store here on the 100th Avenue. That's where we sell the furs. And I believe that's how the city of Fort St. John started. People were trapping in the early days, in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And Fort St. John, that's where they all sell their furs in the early days. The traders used to go up the river by boat. So they buy first at Dunvegan and then they move down to the old fort where Beaton joined the peace. Okay, I just want to say congratulations to all these nominees, and then I hope, I wish you good luck. They deserve it. It's tough. It's a challenge. Don't give up. Just keep plugging away. You'll get there. Maybe not now, but in the future you will. See you down the road. God bless.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Now, I'd like to welcome Gary Oker from the Doig River Drummers.
Hello, my name is Gary Oker, just counselor for Doig River First Nation. I'm here to honor all those participants that are getting awards today. All the hard work that you have done is going to pay off with awards, and I think all of you are winners already, but there will be someone recognized tonight and for these awards for the work that they do for community. Community work is really important, in that we listen to what the community want and we go out and do our best to provide the services. And that's what the joy of life is when we do community work. So with that, I want to do an honor song for all those people that are getting awards and all the people that work hard to make our community a beautiful place to be.
Hey!
It's important that we start these evenings correct. So thank you to Gary and Jerry. Continuing on, I'd now like to invite Her Worship Mayor Ackerman to bring greetings on behalf of the city. Mayor Ackerman.
Thank you, Ted. Well, thank you for joining us online this evening. And I also want to thank Elder Jerry Itachi and Councillor Gary Oker for bringing their warm greetings to this event this evening. And let me begin by acknowledging that we are gathered together and celebrating together on the traditional territory of the Deneza people who have been here since time immemorial. The past few months have not been easy, trying to follow rules that those of us social creatures find a little against the grain, even though we know that those rules have been put in place for our own health, and they have kept us healthy. During this time, so many of you have been absolute angels for others. To be there for them, to hold their hand, reach out to them, provide them with the care and the comfort that they need during this time. Giving of yourselves, being champions and ambassadors for the community. That really does make this community great, and I want to thank each and every one of you for doing that. Each year as I sit and watch the Community Awards ceremony, I continue to be impressed with the remarkable impact that each of you have had on our community. You're a truly amazing group, and those who influence our community, I admire it greatly. So thank you. Our community, your community, is better off because of your efforts. And as we continue to prosper and grow, it becomes more important to acknowledge and recognize those who do make it better by simply doing what you do and sharing your passion with your neighbors. You are strengthening the community. The Community Awards program is administered by a committee made up of City Council. Councillors Clausen and Hansen, as well as city staff, in particular Naomi Gallant. Now, all of our staff are fabulous, but if I could just give a huge atta-girl out this evening, it would be to Naomi. Over the past few months and weeks, Naomi has done a yeoman's job, not only of pulling this together, but also the sod turning for the RCMP building. Thank you so very much for what you've done. And so without volunteers, organizations, the artists, the athletes, and the businesses that constantly strive to better our community, Fort St. John would not be nearly as energetic as it is. I am grateful that you call Fort St. John home. You have my deepest appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Now, I'd like to introduce and invite up two of those councillors who the mayor just named. They're the ones who've co-chaired the Awards Gala Committee this year. Please welcome Councillor Hansen and Councillor Clausen.
For the past 13 years, the City of Fort St. John has been hosting the Community Awards ceremony to recognize and honor those individuals and groups who so tirelessly work to make our city the vibrant and bustling place we all love.
The Community Awards program presents a unique opportunity for us to celebrate the talents and dedication and generosity of our outstanding citizens, businesses, athletes, and volunteers whose contributions work to enrich the lives of those living in Fort St. John.
This year's gala recognizes the contributions and nominees pre-COVID-19 pandemic. 3 of us make up this year's Community Awards Planning Committee.
4 of us, actually.
You're right, there is 4 of us. There's myself, Councillor Clausen, Karen Carlson, Director of Recreation and Leisure Services, and Naomi Gallant, Community Development Coordinator. It is always exciting to read through all the nominations and see how many community members make a difference every year.
Each year at the start of February, we open nominations and rely on community members to submit nominations that allow the city to recognize the contributions residents make to our community, and then we host a Community Awards Gala to honor those extraordinary citizens.
And we'd like to give a big shout out to Ted Sloan, who is our awesome MC for tonight's event.
Thanks, Ted.
Thanks, Ted.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thanks very much for having me as your MC. I'd like to tell you a tiny bit of a story before we go. Early in the year, we said, hey, let's do the Community Awards. It's going to be great. It's going to be where we usually have it. It's fantastic. And then the world happened. Then they said, let's do the Community Awards again. We know the best spot. It's going to be on the stage. It's going to be live. It's going to be fantastic. It'll be outdoors. And then Mother Nature happened. So I wanted to say a big thank you to you tuning in online and to our crew who's working tirelessly behind the scenes to make this happen. I'd also like to thank you for coming together in this time of physical distancing to celebrate and recognize the volunteers' extraordinary contributions. At this time, I'd like to thank our Community Gala sponsors, Urban Systems and Northern Lights College. In fact, I'd like to invite up Edward Stanford, principal at Urban Systems. He's going to say a few words.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Edward Stanford with Urban Systems, and it truly is a pleasure to be here this evening. It's a privilege to work with the City of Fort St. John on having these community awards. As a sponsor, this is a great example of a community coming together to reflect the amazing people who contribute to what a great society it is. So I want to thank everybody for the privilege of being a sponsor, and have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Edward, and Urban Systems for your continued support of the Community Awards Gala. I'd now like to invite up Dr. Bryn, the Northern Lights College President and CEO. They're going to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Brian Kolmatiski, and I'm the President of Northern Lights College. We're pleased to be a major sponsor of the City of Fort St. John Community Awards. We are an integral part of the Fort St. John community, and we have a long history of providing many programs and opportunities to the citizens living here. I want to publicly thank the City of Fort St. John for our long-standing and very close working relationship. We enjoy the consistent support of the Mayor and Council in our lobbying efforts to get more provincial and federal government support and to bring more college programs to our city. I also want to acknowledge the city staff and administration responding to our issues, such as improving the pedestrian safety at the entrance to Northern Lights College across the railroad tracks, or honoring us by renaming the Northern Bypass Road to Northern Lights Drive. To the mayor, councillors, and all of the city's leadership team and staff, thank you for listening to us and for your hard work in supporting the many improvements to our community. Finally, congratulations to all of this year's nominees for the City of Fort St. John Community Awards. You are playing an active role in building the city for the future, our city. We are all proud to be associated with you and part of that future. We know that the high caliber of nominees have made the adjudication process more difficult this year. So special congratulations to all winners, and thank you for inviting Northern Lights College to play a small part in your awards ceremony.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brian, and I'd like to apologize. Usually, when we do this in the right spot, before someone goes up on stage, I say, hey, I really want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly, and I wasn't able to do that with Dr. Brian. So Dr. Brian, I'm very sorry. Thank you so much, you and Northern Lights College, for your continued support of the Community Awards Gala. This year, we also had Peace River Hydro Partners. They became a sponsor of this event, and we are very grateful.
Peace River Hydro Partners places great value on investing in our community.
We also know that it's the volunteers with their dedicated efforts that truly make this community amazing.
A huge thank you to all the volunteers for the amount of time and effort they have given to make Fort St. John the best that it can be.
I'd like to take the rest of the time here to thank the rest of the sponsors tonight. Big thank you to North Peace Savings and Credit Union, to Metro Testing and Engineering, and of course, the people who helped us spread the word. Bell Media, Moose FM, and energeticcity.ca. All of this would not be possible without our generous sponsors, so thank you very, very much. And if you have a moment today, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on somewhere, just drop them a little note and say, hey, thanks for making this happen. Also, I'd like to thank those organizations that are live streaming this event tonight. The City of Fort St. John is on their Facebook and YouTube pages, Energetic City, Eagle Vision Video Productions, and hello to the BC Winter Game Society Facebook page. It's been a while, it's nice to see you again, and thank you for streaming this. Lastly, I'd like to thank the Association for Community Living for the lovely balloon decorations you see behind me. They spent a lot of time blowing up all of these balloons, and I can tell you there's quite a few. At this time, I want to start our awards. Our first award tonight is the Youth Award, and it's sponsored by Metro Testing and Engineering. Now, our Youth Award recognizes an individual or a youth group who has made a positive contribution to the community on a volunteer basis, such as developing a project, serving on a committee, or other volunteer work with organizations and groups. Youth in this category may display outstanding qualities. They may provide leadership, support their peers, overcome challenges, or contribute to Fort St. John in a meaningful way. This year, we had one amazing nominee, Paulie and Padilha. Now, I'd like to invite Simon Connell from Metro Testing and Engineering. He's going to present the award.
And the recipient is Paulie and Padilha. Paulie Ann is a busy youth. Her volunteerism started when she joined the Fort St. John Rotary Interact Club, and she is now the club's international director. She also volunteers and raises funds and awareness for the Salvation Army, the Fort St. John Women's Resource Society, and the Rotary Clubs of Fort St. John. She's even been a tutor at the Fort St. John Literacy Society. At North Peace Secondary School, Paulie Ann is the president of the Student Body Council, a delegate for BC Student Voice, and she established a Girls Can Talk Society to provide empowerment and a safe space for girls. Paulie Ann was also awarded the Co-op WOW Kid for the Month, September 2019. Paulie Ann attends leadership summits and programs and is keen on helping women in our community and around the world.
And this is one of my favorite parts, because when someone wins, we're going to try and reach and call them to see how they're doing. So there she is, Paulie Ann. Okay, so Paulie Ann, hey, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm excellent. Okay, Paulie Ann, I'm about double your age, and I have done nearly none of those things that you have done. You're incredibly accomplished, and you're graduating high school. How does it feel to win this award?
Thank you so much. You know, I was going to say it was very unexpected, but considering I'm the only one that got nominated, I don't really know.
Well,
But
even
yeah,
we
I'm
have a,
so incredibly grateful.
well, you definitely deserve it. Oh, no, that's okay. For those of you who are watching at home, there's a tiny bit of a delay, so you're going to see that fun overlap now and then. But Paulie Ann, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see what the future has for you. And again, thank you to everyone, and congratulations on your amazing award.
Thank you so much. And thank you for making this happen as well. And congratulations to my fellow nominees and winners. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you later, and congrats on graduating.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This is one of the most fun times, I think. For those of you who are watching, this is one of the first times we've ever live streamed something like this. So you're going to see some hiccups, but sometimes those hiccups are the best parts. We are going to move on now, though. Our next award, which is the Cultural Award. Now, our Cultural Award recognizes an individual or a group for their volunteer efforts in historical, visual, performing, or the literary arts. Individuals may demonstrate an excellence in an artistic field. They've increased artistic and cultural opportunities within the community. Or they've encouraged people to reach and expand their potential through culture here in Fort St. John. This year, the 2020 nominees are Sabrina Brooks, Stevie Megive, Obion Castro Hill, and Jessica Harrison. This is my favorite part, too. I get to say some of the runners-up and some of the accomplishments I get to do. So our first runner-up today is Obion Castro Hill. She is an active member of the Filipino-Canadian Association and just a wonderful person to talk to. Last year, she organized the first Filipino art show in Fort St. John. She's an artist. She's very interested in sharing her art and the Filipino culture with the Fort St. John community. She's even a role model to the immigrant community as well as locals, because she shows what an artist can achieve with some creativity and a whole lot of tenacity. Congratulations, Obion. Our next runner-up is Stevie Megive. Stevie is passionate about theater, and if you ask her, she'll talk your ear off. It's wonderful. As a member of the Stage North Board of Directors, she dedicates countless hours to the organization. She helps govern the organization, she acts in the organization, she produces, she does numerous things, and Stage North owes her a debt. Thank you, Stevie. Now, we would like to invite up Councillor Hanson to present our award tonight.
And the recipient is Jessica Harrison. Jessica is a creative graphic designer who uses her artistic skills to volunteer in the community. She is a member of the North Peace Potters Guild, where she manages the public relations and marketing for the Pottery Studio. This past year, Jessica spent hundreds of hours volunteering for the 2020 BC Winter Games as a Creative Services Chair. In this role, she recruited graphic design volunteers and even mentored a student pursuing a graphic design degree. Jessica helped create the We Are North brand for the 2020 Winter Games and all games promotional materials. The We Are North logo has been seen far and wide across the community, region, and the rest of BC. Congratulations.
And a big congratulations to Jessica. We're gonna check out from there. Whoa, I saw there. Hey, Jessica, congratulations. How does it feel to win the award?
It's amazing. Thank you for recognizing all the work that's gone into the BC Games this year.
Well, I didn't sleep much during the games, but I think you slept even less, because everywhere I went, I would see you flitting around. How does it feel now that it's a couple months past? Have you recovered in sleep? Is it still a bit surreal to see your marketing, your branding everywhere?
It was an amazing experience. It was more hours than I originally thought I'd be putting in. But, when I saw it all come together for the event, it was really worth it.
Well, thank you for putting in those countless hours. I think people, when they do see something, they don't realize that that small thing that they see, that graphic, takes planning, it takes organizing, it takes drafts, and that's something that you did again and again and again. So a big thank you so much, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
We'll see you around. All right, 2 awards in, and let's head to our next award. This one is the Humanitarian Award, and it's sponsored by the North Peace Savings and Credit Union. The Humanitarian Award recognizes the distinguished contributions of an individual, a business, or a non-profit organization towards areas including, but not limited to, social innovation, mentorship, or just investing here in the community of Fort St. John. Our nominees this year are amazing people. They're Jeanette Johnston, Vanessa Simmons-Ford, Faye Ansey and Devessa, Joshua Cullen, Judy Desjardins, Sand and Stone Jewelry, Fort St. John Rotary Club Sunrise, and the Fort St. John Rotary Club. This is one of our most nominated areas. That's how awesome we are here in Fort St. John. Let's get to our runners-up. Right now, one of the runners-up is Dr. Henry Ma. He's a dentist that works long hours at his business, and he gives back to his community in many ways. He's involved in community events such as the Spookiest Yard contest, and he has chances to win prizes for his cavity-free children that visit his practice. He also gives fee services to those who need it. And his new office on 100th Avenue really shows how much he's invested in this community. It really, truly brightened up the area. Next up, our next runner-up, is Vanessa Simmons-Ford. She runs the North Peace Senior Connect and Care program. The group canvasses the community for sponsors, and with the donations, they gift the seniors personalized Christmas hampers. Vanessa coordinates the volunteers in finding sponsors and creating and distributing the hampers. She's an inspiration, and she takes care so that seniors that may go unnoticed at Christmas time are not forgotten. We are truly grateful for that. Now, I would like to invite up Mitchell Chilcott of North Peace Savings and Credit Union to present our award.
And the recipient is Jeanette Johnston. Jeanette has always helped when she can. She is a founder of the Phoenix Volunteer Club, and she runs her own business, an Ella's Kitchen. As part of the Phoenix Volunteer Club, she has organized carnivals, winter hampers, sandwiches for the homeless, coat drives for children who need winter wear, and senior suppers. Jeanette puts others first and is always organizing or doing something to help others in the community. She is a role model because of her selfless acts.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Jeanette, you're one of the reasons why I'm on this stage, because when I was a younger person, you took me under your wing and said, do you want to volunteer? So thank you. I'm glad that we can recognize you. Congratulations on this award. How does it feel?
I'm speechless for once. Thanks, Ted.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you're the person who, you're tireless. I think any event that I'm like, maybe I should volunteer, you're already there. You're either organizing it or you found someone. How do you find all this time to give back to your community?
I guess just one little bit at a time. I do what I can and give back as much as I can.
Well, and it's amazing because you and your husband are such a great team. It's so much fun to watch how you support one another and how you find what is needed in our community and reach out to it, all the while doing your own business. Congratulations on that as well. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. It's really fun to give it to you. I can't wait till we can actually give it to you in person. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Awesome. We're going to move on now to our next presentation. And actually, I'd like to welcome back our counselors, Hansen and Clausen.
We would like to welcome our speaker panel, who are all involved in the 2020 BC Winter Games. Julie Ziebert, President of the Fort St. John and District Chamber of Commerce.
Matthew Mitchell, gold medal winner of the 500-meter Olympic-style boys long track.
Andy Ackerman, who canvassed for business donations.
Darren Schneider, who is the President of the Board of Directors of the BC Winter Games 2020.
Welcome to our panel conversation. Today I've got 4 amazing guests, each with their own experience. And we're going to start today with Darren. Darren, first and foremost, how are you doing?
Pretty awesome.
Excellent. I kind of missed you. We haven't talked as much as we did during the games. Darren, today you're here to talk about the volunteer experience. You were everywhere. You got to see a lot of volunteers. What was it like? Well, what was it like to be the head of the volunteer experience? What kind of stories did you hear from volunteers? Or we'll start with that. Was there anything that really stood out from that angle?
As far as our board goes and our chair people, some of the dedication, we went through a couple pregnancies. We had a kid born on the board while we were going through the process and never missed a meeting, the baby or the mother afterwards. We had another lady that was pregnant. We had some illnesses and things, and come game time, they were still there at midnight after being sick during the planning and run up to the games. And so it's really good to see the dedication and whatnot that lots of the people have put in. Some of the things that you see, like whole families involved, right? Where you see mom and dad and you see the kids out there helping out. There was one little 8 or 9-year-old boy. He was on security, I think, every single day at the Pomeroy. So he was out there every day. He was with his dad, but he was on security with his vest on, and he was good to go, and he was there every day. So it's good to see little father and son time, I guess you'd say there. But lots of it, the whole families. We had everything from 8 and 9-year-old kids to we had an 80-year-old gentleman who worked every single night at North Peace on the security desk, right? So yeah, wide range. We had ladies at the old folks home who put together all the pins for us and put them on card backing. That was leading up to the game, so they were involved and they were quite happy to do it, and it gave them something to do and be involved as well. So
it really drew the community together. Like, it was neat to look across and go, oh, I know you. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. It really, Fort St. John kind of put a bow around itself and said, we're going to do this together.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. The volunteer sign up, I guess, where everybody registered and whatnot. I didn't do anything actually physically. I just stood around and looked good and talked to everybody as they came in. So, but yes, you did get to see a lot of people and a lot of people you haven't seen and just to figure out what they volunteered for and see where their interests are. That was interesting.
So question, Fort St. John is sometimes a notoriously last-minute town. What challenges, how did it go? Did you get nervous at all? Or were you like, no, Fort St. John will pull through 110%?
It was an ongoing conversation all the time because we did have a rush right at the beginning of volunteers, and then we kind of stuck around 900, and we were hoping for that 13 to 1400 number. But we weren't really nervous from the standpoint of we expected it to come. And then the last week it did, and we got over 2,000. So in the end, we definitely had everybody there. So yeah, that was one of the challenges, was waiting for all those people to sign up, and then in the end, almost having to look for some jobs for some people because they did volunteer, and then looking for places for them, right? So, secondary challenge was just getting all of those people registered into the system. So BC Games had a computer system to log all the community members in or as volunteers, and it was challenging to get everybody registered, to say the least.
But speaking of challenging, one of the things I noticed that you didn't do a lot over the week was sleep. So my question is, was the whole weekend kind of a blur, or were there certain moments that stood out for you where you went, oh my gosh, this is happening? Was there anything that popped out and went, I'll always remember that?
Yeah, at the special event one night when there was a bunch of, I don't know if you saw the rhythmic gymnastics girls. Well, there's one boy too, but they were 8, 9 years old and they're gymnasts, so they're like this tall, right? And so they were teaching me to pirouette at the special event. And the one did happen to inform me that was terrible. So apparently I'm not going to make it in rhythmic gymnastics. But no, that stood out. It was fun to interact with the athletes.
Well, as a volunteer myself, I want to say a big thank you because it was really nice to go, I don't know what I'm doing, but Darren looks like he knows what he's doing, so I'm inspired. So from everyone else, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on. Matthew, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm excellent. Matthew, I got to be there watching you speed skate, and that was really neat to see because someone went, oh yeah, that's the local guy, the guy who's winning. And that was really cool. What was it like to be an athlete in the games here in Fort St. John?
It was very enjoyable to be in your hometown, but it's kind of stressful because all I could think about is I have to do good, I have to do good. Everybody's gonna be watching me, I know everyone here, but it was really cool to have all the families, all your friends there to see you, so I really enjoyed that part of it.
Nice. What's it like being a speed skater here? Was there someone who you were looking to for inspiration? Was it like a mom or another athlete, or is there someone that you look up to?
Oh, my sister, yes.
Really?
Yeah, she's also a speed skater. She was there for the entire thing, and if I did bad, she would always be there for me, so she was a very big inspiration during that BC Games period.
That's really cool, man. Does your sister know that she's an inspiration? Have you ever told her that?
I'm not sure if she does know. I'm not sure I would let her know. That power over me.
Well, let's talk about the day of the race. I mean, it was local, it was really neat. Did you do anything differently to prepare, or were you like, nope, this is just a race, I'm gonna treat it like any other race? What was it like that?
It was a lot different. It's a whole different experience at the BC Winter Games, just from a regular competition, so it's really trying just to concentrate on my regular routine to get ready for it and just trying to be extra prepared for the worst.
Well, I'm glad that you prepared for the worst because the best happened. Do you have your medals with you?
Yes, I do.
Can we see them?
Yep.
So, can you tell me, I see you got the silver and the gold there. First of all, did you ever bite them?
No.
Okay. Secondly, what events did you win those medals in?
The gold medal was in the 500 meter for long track, and the silver was in the 7-lap mass start, also for long track.
And when you were standing there getting those medals, after you'd done all this preparation, after you knew everybody was there, and the race was over and you'd won, what did that feel like?
Really don't remember. It was very exciting, a lot of emotions going. Just a great feeling to know all your hard work paid off.
It was really amazing to sit and watch you there, and I don't know if you remember, but I remember your smile, and I also remember you looked a little bit tired. You had just done a great job, so thank you for bringing those in today.
No problem. Thank you.
My pleasure. Julie, you're here today to talk a little bit about the business community and Fort St. John, and I want to talk about, you're the Fort St. John, the president of the Chamber of Commerce. What things did you hear from your members about the games?
Oh, well, as a member also, our firm's a member, and I was partner and was involved with the BC Games right from the bidding process to the nominating of the president and volunteering. We, like other companies, jumped right in. So there's, so many opportunities, whether it was an investment in-kind donations, volunteer time for our teams. It was great team building for ourselves. We took part in the accreditation. Other businesses were there wanting to get in on showcasing our community. It was really an opportunity for us to shine as a re-imaging our city, right? Being known as something else. I think I saw Darren was on Global News talking about our community and just being able to highlight that. And I think from the perspective of business owners, it was a great opportunity to have brand recognition regionally, be able to show where we shine as community members, really getting involved. And of course, there's the economic aspect of it. You can't forget that part of that. There's the economic, I call them economic ripples. I don't know if you've heard of that term, but it's not just the dollars that are being spent by the people that are visiting Fort St. John, coming to watch athletes like yourself. It's also how that trickles into multiple dollars, whether it's the money spent at the restaurant and that restaurant buys more for more product and also to pay their staff. And then that trickles to the staff members spending the monies in the community. So that in all is part of that business community effort and also the results that come from it.
So it sounds neat. So it sounds like not only, I know that I was like, oh, lots of people will come into the city and they will spend lots of money, which is great, but also it sounds like it was great for locals too, a reason to go out, a reason to invest in our own community too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the great thing about having something like the BC Winter Games, right? Because it also gives an opportunity to showcase sports that we don't necessarily have in Fort St. John. A good example is biathlon. I went to the Rod and Gun Club, and so you're able to repurpose something, right, other than the gun range, and to be able to use that. And maybe it'll spark another club in Fort St. John, if it hasn't already been created. Ringette was another thing. I've never seen ringette other than my niece in Calgary, but to be able to showcase that at Pomeroy Sports Center, and it gives people like, maybe this is something else we can introduce to the city.
It was, I would say, especially, that was really neat because when I was watching you, Matthew, at the ringette, I never realized A, how fast it was, and B, how loud those fans can be. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of money, do you have any idea about how much money was invested in the community or those kinds of things over the weekend?
I can tell you roughly what it had cost our city to put something like this on, like for the cost of whether it's the infrastructure or bringing all of that equipment to Fort St. John, all of those costs, it was around just over $1 million.
Okay.
So, but when you look at what that will turn into money spent in the community and the long-term effects of that, we don't have an exact number of that. We're waiting for the economic impact study, but I can tell you that the BC Winter Games that was held in 2014, I believe it was in Mission, BC, they had spent $1.6 million, I believe, and the economic ripples for that is about $3.2 million.
Amazing, so it's almost double.
Yeah.
And what a neat thing too, because like you were saying, not only does that money go in, but you're right, other things can come out, other sports, other clubs. It's truly an investment all the way around.
Yeah. And for a cost of that, what really impressed me is the in-kind donations, and Andy's going to speak to that, so I'm not going to steal his thunder, but when you look at, over 3/4 of that was contributed by our business community members. That's the impressive part of that.
And that's a great segue to Mr. Andy. Andy, you are our sponsorship guy, and time and time again, when I'm part of an organization, we go, we need someone to help us raise awareness, raise sponsorship. We go, oh, I know Andy. And Andy, this was a huge undertaking. This was potentially one of the biggest provincial things or things in Canada at this point this year. What was it like to go out knocking on doors, asking for businesses to invest in this?
It was a great experience. I can tell you that I never received no. Whenever I knocked on a door, we had packages prepared for them. We left them there. It was like, just tell us what you need. Tell us what we can do for you. I never had anybody say, get lost. And I think everybody wanted to be in. And there's a reason for that, because their children, their grandchildren, their family members are all part of this. And a lot of them just wanted to do it. I mean, and the big question was just tell us what you need and we'll see what we can do. And they did step up to the plate. It was like over $700,000 worth of in-kind donated by local businesses towards the games. And that's massive when you consider that, you know, the size of our community. And when we had the folks up from the Lower Mainland, because they were kind of there to shadow us, and they just shook their heads and said, we could never do this down here because it's just Fort St. John.
There was, growing up here, I realized this, and I thought it was just everywhere in the country, but it's especially here. When someone needs help in this town,
yeah,
we say, yep, we'll be there, and we come out in droves.
Yeah, and very much so. And we had the bigger companies like the Peminas and the Patronuses and the Shells. They gave considerable amounts of money, but they also contributed in lots of other ways, like the special project for the First Nations village down at Centennial Park and the PIN, the Indigenous PIN. All of that was all done by a lot of by Pemina in this case. But they, you know, they just said, just tell us where you want us, and then we'll be there to help. So, and some of the companies did not want recognition. Like a lot of companies, they do it because they want recognition. I don't know how many people Darren and the team had to chase just to get to fill out the contribution form. Well, we don't really want to. You know, we're just doing this, right? And so it was literally some days begging, please fill out the form so we can recognize you, you know. And we had companies I know that contributed that never did fill out the form, but they were there for us, and that's what really counted.
It's nice to look back and go, wow, this was such an amazing experience. And we're going to wrap up the panel, but I do want to ask each and every one of you before we do, because I want to make sure that you get to say what you want to say. My question is going to be, if you have one memory to take away from these games, either from the sponsorship or a personal point, or the business world, or a personal point from the athletic, from the volunteer head, my question would be, succinctly, what will you take away from the games? So personally, I think one of the things that I'll take away from these games is I had someone from Vancouver go, I'm coming back to Fort St. John. You guys are a pretty neat group. And I was like, oh, yes, we are. And they said, it is pretty cold though. But it was what I will remember from the games is people seeing this part of the world and saying, I want to come back. Darren, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, and I apologize for that. But is there something that you'll take away from these games?
Yeah, the guy that said that, it was above zero the week they were here. What I take away? The biggest thing for me, like I started 2 years before the games and started organizing my directors and whatnot. The way that my directors stepped up and the amount of hours and hours, hundreds of hours that many of them had to put in order to do their jobs was pretty phenomenal. Like the group of people that we had on our board of directors and just the sheer number of hours that they willingly put in with a little prodding sometimes.
True. Matthew, is there something that you're going to take away from the games?
Just the feeling of the achievement of winning the 2 medals that I have and just wanting to achieve greater heights for the Canada Winter Games and hopefully the Olympics.
Are we looking forward to a couple of years watching you on that TV? Julie, how about you?
You know, for me and for businesses that, especially our chamber members, being able to be a part of getting these athletes to where they want to be. You know, I spoke with Petron and Ideal Office Solutions and ourselves at MNP. We could do all this work for the games, but really the satisfaction we had was when we were giving medals to the athletes, right? And that feeling, being part of that camaraderie when they're all together and the new friendships that they're making, that was amazing for us.
Mm-hmm. And Andy, how about yourself?
I think the one thing that sticks in my mind most about all of this is the teams. We worked as a strong team. Darren said all the numbers, but raising the funds wasn't just our team. Like there was days when Darren would go and push a little bit harder to get certain people, and we all worked as a really great team. And I think that strengthens our community. It shows us the backbone of our community as how when we got something to do, we pull together and we get her done. And I had an awesome team, and with a lot of support from our from the board, and we got her done. So to me, that'll stick in my mind forever, I think.
That's a very good Fort St. John note to end on. We got her done. We got her done with flair. So thank you guys for coming in today, and we'll see you guys in 10 years, and we'll do it all over again. We're going to end the panel there. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone who's tuning in as well, and talk to you soon. Awesome. Thank you to our panel, to Darren and to Matthew, Julie and Andy. They were awesome, and it was fantastic. Also wanted to check in with you at home. If you're wondering when you can go to the washroom, technically you're at home, so you can go to the washroom anytime and bring us with you. You don't have to tell us. Sorry, that was weird. But just to let you know, we're about 20 minutes away from the end of our night tonight. So we encourage you to stay and kick back and maybe enjoy some popcorn and a drink. Now, we're going to go back to your awards, and next up is our Recreation Award. Now, the Recreation Award recognizes an individual or a group for their volunteer efforts in the promotion, the organization, the support, or motivation of either sports, recreation, and leisure pursuits, and that includes healthy and active living. Individuals may demonstrate excellence in an athletic discipline, or maybe they've increased sport and recreational opportunities within our community. Or maybe they encourage someone to reach and expand their potential through recreation and wellness in Fort St. John. This has been a very big year for us here in this category, and we have some phenomenal nominees. They are Michael Baccio, Madison Hebert, Big Bam Ski Hill and Recreation, Phil Hiscock, and Eliza Stanford. Now, our runners-up this year. Congratulations to Madison Hebert. She consistently gives her time and energy to whatever organization she is a part of. She coordinates Atom Hockey. She continues to do that even though her children skate at a different level. She has made efforts to improve the fairness of teams within minor hockey, so confidence and morale can improve, and this truly affects all young hockey families. On top of that, she heads up the district PAC, and she represents Fort St. John on the provincial PAC level, which is an accomplishment all its own. She organizes many events, including the drug awareness for our district. She works hard to make our community a better place. Thank you. Our next runner-up is Big Bam Ski Hill and Recreation. Now, Big Bam Ski Hill is 100% volunteers, and they have sacrificed their time and time with their families to make sure that our only ski hill in this area is open and running. Directors and volunteers work extremely hard to fundraise, to get donations, to receive grants, and at times they put their own money back into the hill to keep it afloat so that everybody can enjoy the hill and make those memories. Big Bam is an amazing asset to Taylor, Fort St. John, and our surrounding areas. The many volunteers, including longtime volunteer Jody Mather, are inspiring role models. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to invite up Councillor Clausen to present our Recreation Award.
And the recipient is Eliza Stanford. Eliza is the president of the Whiskey Jack Nordic Ski Club and has contributed countless hours to bring awareness to Fort St. John residents about the club and to bring the ski trails up to an incredible standard. She has been fundraising for the club's project by approaching businesses as well as applying for countless grants. Eliza was instrumental in making the cross-country skiing at the 2020 BC Winter Games possible. She got the stadium area ready, as well as organized the construction of the shop, the timing hut, and a new accessible outhouse. She also acquired updated grooming equipment and additional equipment needed to run the Winter Games competition. The trail system is used by many and benefits the area residents year-round, as you can ski, snowshoe, and hike in the winter, as well as hike and bike in the summer. After all this, Eliza has time to volunteer as part of the city's High on Ice Winter Festival by offering lessons at the club's trails. She is an artist that has a colorful ice display at the High on Ice Winter Festival. Eliza has also written articles detailing the progress of the club, which have been published in the Cross Country BC magazine, and has been recognized by Cross Country BC for her contributions and the club's incredible progress over the last couple of years.
So a massive congratulations to Eliza. Eliza, well deserved. How does it feel?
It feels pretty nice actually, but I still feel like we've got still so much to do.
I was going to say, I think this is the most I've ever seen you really sit down and not be working on something. So I hope you get a well-deserved break today. Just as a side note, you did a tremendous amount of work this year to get the trails ready for the 2020 games. What was that like?
It was quite a journey, actually. It was a really busy summer and fall, but we managed to pull together a lot of incredible volunteers from within our club and beyond our club into the community, and that was pretty rewarding to be able to reach out and engage with more people from the community.
Well, we are going to move to our next award, but I wanted to say, A, thank you for making a gem that is provincially known and amazingly, and secondly, on a personal note, there was one time where I took snowshoes out to the beaten, and I heard your voice say, "Do not step on the ski trail." So thank you for striking the fear of God into all of us, and thank you for your continued support for that. Good luck next year.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to go on to a brand new award this year. It's our Business Award. And now I'd like to invite Councillor Hanson to present it.
And the recipient is Dr. Harriet and staff at the North Peace Optometry Clinic. Community first, that's North Peace Optometry Clinic's motto, and they demonstrate it in so many ways. Eye education is one of their foundational programs. The staff are forever coming up with new opportunities to educate people on the importance of eye protection, even visiting communities without eye care services. North Peace Optometry offers a traveling eye clinic that does eye exams remotely at Peace Lutheran Apartments in Fort St. John, and they go out into the communities of Taylor, Hudson's Hope, and First Nations such as Blueberry, Doig, Halfway, and Prophet River, bringing their services to the community. Dr. Harriet and his team try to support groups each year through events and sponsorships. In 2018, they chose 10 people to offer free exams and eyewear to as a part of a Christmas campaign. In 2019, they worked with School District 60 and offered 9 children the opportunity for exam and glasses who might not be able to afford the much-needed glasses. And this year, they worked with Alliance Church to provide free eye exams to children of single mothers as a Mother's Day event held by the church. It's inspiring to see them donate their time and put the needs of others first. Congratulations.
Big congratulations. I have Kelly Lynn on the line. Kelly Lynn, that was an amazing description of what you guys do. How does it feel to win the first version of this award?
It's pretty incredible. Thank you guys for, thanks for the nomination, and thank you to everyone that supports our business.
What's it like? I mean, it's hard enough sometimes to stay in one spot and do business, but to pick up and travel and go to places that need it, I mean, that takes a lot of planning. What is that like when you get ready to go? Why did you guys say, yeah, we need to do this? And you can also, I put you straight.
Recognize that there were a lot of people.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, I put you on the spot, and I'm so sorry. I was just blown away by how much work you guys have done. This is amazing. So, sorry to put you on the spot. Keep going. My apologies.
That's okay. We could just see that a lot of these communities outside of Fort St. John were in need of help, and there's a lot of people that maybe can't make the travel here, and so we started reaching out to the reserves and Hudson's Hope and all those communities, and we made arrangements to visit there. So yeah, it's been great. It's well received, and we usually spend a few days there seeing people. So yeah, it's great.
I'm sure you've changed some lives, and congratulations on this award. It's fantastic that you guys are the first ones to win it because you're incredibly deserving. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're on to our Lifetime Achievement Award. And this award was an extremely difficult category for our judges. See, the top 3 nominees have a combined 90 years of volunteering in our community. Now, the Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes an individual's remarkable contributions and dedications here to our area. Their contributions have improved the quality of life for our citizens, or they've brought positive recognition to Fort St. John in the province, the country, or in the world. Our 2020 nominees this year are Julia Kowalski, Bonnie Anderson, Bob Troback, Rick Hamry, Roxanne Schmelik, and Mary Edith Campbell. It was extremely hard to award the top one, so our runners-up this year are Bob Troback. Congratulations, Bob. Bob was actively involved with the Golden Hawks junior hockey team. This was the team that later became the Fort St. John Huskies. He was a coach, an executive member, and then later he was a commissioner of the league. And he's coached in the minor hockey league. Well, initially he coached his son's hockey team, and then his son aged up and he continued to coach pre-novice hockey for more than 30 years. He organized sponsorship for children who couldn't afford to play hockey well before we had organizations such as Jumpstart and the Kids Start programs. In the 70s and the 80s, Bob was also an active member of the Kinsman Club. He volunteered, he committed countless hours to his community through his organization. As a chartered accountant, Bob organized a seniors' night for tax returns. For many years, he would set up in the seniors' home, and then he'd help them complete their tax returns. He's been volunteering in our community for more than 50 years. Bob, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. Next up, the runner-up is Mary Edith Campbell. Now, Mary has volunteered for over 45 years here in Fort St. John, and she's a musician. She's played with several different bands, and she's always volunteered her time and skills to the seniors in our community. She played 2 to 3 times a week at Peace Villa, and then she would make time to go play at other locales in town. Mary is one of the unsung heroes, and it was a true social event when she would play music at the Peace Villa. And her music has contributed to the health and the wellness of seniors and staff. Now, I'd like to welcome and invite Councillor Hanson to present our award tonight.
And the recipient is Roxanne Schmelik. Roxanne has dedicated numerous years and hours to the seniors in Fort St. John community. She has been the president of the Fort St. John and Area Seniors Care Foundation for more than 10 years. This foundation provides nutrition, light housekeeping, and chaplaincy support to seniors. She spends hours every week volunteering to ensure the frail and the vulnerable can stay in their own familiar and comfortable home as long as possible. Roxanne is the mastermind behind the Music Jamboree fundraiser that takes place each year. She coordinates more than 12 local bands to play throughout the day with breakfast and lunch served. She started and continues to promote the very popular Reach Out program at the Senior Apartments, Heritage, and Abbeyfield facilities every month that includes music, dancing, and dessert. In her spare time, Roxanne plans all sorts of themed events for seniors, like Valentine's Day, Red Hat teas, picnics, and country drives. On Sundays, she moves the seniors from their room to the church service and the hospital cafeteria. She also attends Save Our Northern Seniors meetings, whose main goal is to support the housing needs of seniors. She keeps the seniors involved, engaged, and less lonely. She is an inspiration as she faithfully dedicates her time to our seniors, making sure they maintain their dignity and a higher quality of life by being mentally and socially engaged. A true seniors advocate.
A big congratulations to Roxanne. Roxanne, you're there. How does it feel to win this award?
Well, it leaves me speechless.
It
does.
So
it's very overwhelming.
So the amount
It's
of work
been
that
a
you
joy.
do, I apologize, I keep overrunning you. I'm going to set you up and then I'm going to let you run with it. I was going to ask, the amount of things you do for our seniors is truly breathtaking. We cannot thank you enough. I was going to ask, why? I mean, it's such a wonderful thing, but is there something that you know, like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do? Is there anything that drives you?
Yes. I worked in the care home. I worked with the seniors since 1994. I have been on the board and I have been the president, and I have worked with the seniors, taking them on bus outings. I've arranged so many things for them. I've seen the joy, and I've seen the just the difference in the lives of those people when you work with them and you try to give them quality of life that they so much deserve. And it's just it's a real joy. And the more I do for them, the more they bring back to me. And I always say, I hope when when I'm there, that there's someone that'll do the same things for me, and it's a real joy, and there is no end to the things that I would like to do for them. And I do as much as I can, and all the volunteers that work with me. It wouldn't be possible without Fort St. John has so many wonderful volunteers. And yes, we have a lot of things that we still want to do for them. And as soon as this year gets back to normal, we'll be up with our music jamboree again and our fundraisers. And we've been fundraising all along through these last few months of COVID. And it's been very good for us. The response has been good, and I'm just very pleased that I have the health and the ability to do for the seniors what I do, and there is no end to the things that I want to do for them, and I love it.
Well, we really love you, so thank you so much, because in this last couple of months we've really learned that our seniors are sometimes they need those people to advocate for them. So thank you so very much for standing up to that and doing that for us. So we're going to move on to the next award, but thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Now I get to welcome, I've kind of missed doing this. I haven't been able to do it for a few months, but we're going to welcome up Darren Schneider. He's going to say a few words on behalf of the 2020 BC Winter Games Committee, and I think this might be the last time I get to say it, so I will cement it. Please welcome to your TV screen or your laptop screen or your phone screen or wherever you're watching, Dr. Darren Schneider.
Thanks, Ted. For those of you who aren't aware, Ted Sloan officially indoctrinated me from the Sloan University as a physician, so it was good to hear. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and watching the online community awards. The ride to the Winter Games was a very winding one for us. Fortunately, we got it off just before the COVID-19 shut everything down, so that was kind of lucky. I started in February of 2018. At that time, I really did not understand or know what the scope or the amount of work and time involved in putting on the BC Winter Games involved. My first line of business was to look for a vice president, and fortunately I was able to find Deanne, so thank you, Deanne, for joining me. Our second line of business was for Deanne and I to draft up a scope of work which understated how much work it would be for all the directors and how much time it would not take them. And then we set about looking for people to help us out on our journey. So thank you all of my directors and liaisons for stepping up and not quitting partway through. Tonight I was asked to speak about what the games meant to me, and that's kind of a broad question. When I started the project, I thought it was a sporting event. A very large sporting event, but still just a sporting event. By the time the games rolled around, it really became more of a community event centered around some sporting events. It included contributions from the sports community, but also from the arts community and just our community in general. The games really highlighted how proud people are of their community. I was surprised many times with the amount of time and dedication that our chairs and directors put into the games. Right from the start, people were out to prove what a great games Fort St. John could provide. From our game sponsors to our over 2,000 volunteers, everyone wanted to be involved. I think everyone wanted to showcase Fort St. John for the rest of the province, and we did. During the lead up to the games and the playing of the games weekend, we saw people from over 90 years old to under 12 years old signing up to volunteer to help out just so they could be part of it. It was great to see everybody so involved. Planning and executing the games have provided me the opportunity to meet and work with a great many people who I didn't know previously or only knew slightly prior to the games. It's been a great experience for me to get to know these people and to work with them and watch all of them take the opportunity to another level and really excel. And really, they all just made me and Deanne look good. I want to thank everybody for coming out and helping at the games. Thank you.
strange to not have applause, so thank you guys. Our last award tonight is the Mayor's Citizen of the Year Award. This award recognizes an individual or a group that has achieved positive notoriety outside our community for their actions. They're known as a leader or role model by their peers and has won international, national, or provincial titles or awards for their efforts. The recipient acts as an ambassador for our community and has recognized Fort St. John as their home and community where they built and honed their skills and abilities. At this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Ackerman back up to present our Mayor Citizen of the Year Award. Mayor Ackerman.
Well, thank you again. I just want to recognize that I have with me this evening Councillors Clausen, Hansen, and Grimsrud, and I want to thank them and let them get socially distanced in place. So what do the numbers 16, 5, 80, 15, 1400, 1800, 300, 200, and 1.2 million have in common? And when would you hear comments like, the town welcomed us with open arms and everything was exceptional? When would you hear, I have been across this province and nowhere have I witnessed this level of community spirit? Well, I can answer those. 16 members of the board of directors and 5 liaisons, over 80 chairpersons, multi-sport events of up to 15 different sports, 1,400 athletes, 1,800 volunteers, 300 coaches, 200 officials, and the organizers raised $1.2 million in cash and in-kind services. We heard these comments and more at the 2010 BC Winter Games. So the even easier answer to the question of who is the recipient of the 2020 Mayor Citizen of the Year is, and please join me in congratulating the entire 2020 BC Winter Games Board of Directors. It is remarkable to have this kind of spirit in the community, and I remember speaking to them when it was first beginning, and telling the directors it was going to be tough slogging. You're going to make friends. You're going to learn things about the community that you didn't know about, but most of all, you will be rewarded. So thank you. And I can't shake hands or hug or anything. So that's really straining this. Yes, Ted.
If you're watching online, please give a high five. It is, as you can hear the people behind me, it's very interesting to have people here and not high five them. So we're gonna do air high fives all around, air high fives, air high fives, air high fives. And everyone's safe. Excellent. And that's gonna draw our evening to an end. I do believe, Mayor, do you have closing remarks, or shall I take it home?
Take it home, Ted.
Excellent. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first virtual live stream version of this event. Really, here in Fort St. John, you can throw just about anything at us, and we'll come back, and we'll come back with flair. Thank you again for tuning in. Don't forget, next year you can nominate your own nominees. We'd also like to thank our gala sponsors as well, because without them we couldn't have done this. Big thank you to Urban Systems and Northern Lights College, and thank you to all of our sponsors again. And again, if you're watching online, please write them a quick Facebook message and say, thank you for sponsoring this. It will go a long way. Remember, again, you have the opportunity to nominate your colleagues next year. We'll see you maybe in person, but definitely somewhere, sometime. Good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Yeah.